In this video, I'm going to talk about how being a provider is not just about money. We see so many things on social media, this alpha male and this whatever, this high value man, and all it is predicated on if you have this amount of money, then a woman will respect you. And it's basically this kind of weird control thing, but you can provide in more ways than just money. I will talk about it, my personal anecdotes of Carly making more money than I did, and also all of the kind of emotional things that I went through and how I changed that for the better. So I'll get into it. But before I do, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate it. Now, why this is so important. Probably 5 years ago or so, I went through a period of feeling very vulnerable, very insecure because Carly was making vastly more money than I was at the time. Now, to add a little bit of color commentary to this, I went to a 4-year university. Carly went to a 4-year university, but she also dropped out after the second year because she loved digital marketing and advertising. And she was like, I'm just going to do this instead of just kind of going through and getting this degree that might not, fully translate. So she got 2 years ahead. Now, she's a director at a company and in paid media and directs people who have bachelors, who have masters, who have all of that stuff, right? And so I felt very insecure. And also I'm 3.5 years older than Carly. And so that at the time, that messed with me because I was like, I don't know how I'm going to provide value to this relationship. I don't know if she's going to respect me over time. I don't know if she needs me. I like that type of thing because I thought at the time that the only way that I could provide value to a relationship was through money. Also, there's so much content out there that is just like, here, if you have the dollar, you'll get the girl. And so that is true if you're looking for women who just want you for the dollar. Now, that's a whole different conversation for another time. But how can you provide value when it's not just focused on finance? I'm going to go through 4 ways that I do that I had to focus on, and then now as salary and everything has really evened out, I still do that. I still do this stuff because it is still applicable. It still adds to the fruitfulness of our marriage, and it's very helpful. Number 1 is I focus on the we. At the time when I was just focused on the finances, I was focused on the me. I was like, I need to make more so that you need me for something, and I want you to make less than I do because I need to have this ego thing. Now, as you go through life and as you get married and as you have a house and as you have responsibilities, you end up looking at the we of it. You're like, hey, what do we bring to the table all together financially? What do we bring to the table all together support-wise? And that's so helpful because now we're in a position where I'm like, hey, I want you to make as much money as you can. You want me to make as much money as I can. I want you to vastly out earn me because I'm looking at the we and I'm looking at what we want to do with our finances and add to the fulfillment of our life. And now I focus on the we of it. So instead of just focusing on just you, if you have somebody who's bringing finances and those things to the table, look at it as a, hey, as time goes on and as, you never know what the economy does. And as you need more finances to fund some more things that add fulfillment to your life, that is a blessing. So focus on the we. Number 2 is provide leadership without control. Now, I had this thought and I was wondering, there's if you know this whole kind of red pill content that's out there, I put it on quotes because whatever, but it really predicates on saying this like, hey, a high value man is someone who just makes a lot of money. And it ends up being this weird control over a woman, right? And so when I didn't make the finances or our finances were very, very different, I was like, oh, I'm not going to have any sort of level of control. I like having control in kind of everything that I do, right? And so that was very uncomfortable for me. But what I realized was I was able, and I had to work on having a vision for us, for our entire relationship, right? I had to have a vision and I had to make sure I got the input from her and all of this because I couldn't just sit there and be like, oh, let me just control with my finances because you're incapable. No, I had to sit back and say, hey, what can we do together? And I also had to work on my confidence in leading without focusing on finances, right? And so that was something that was so important to me because I really focused on setting the tone for our relationship at the time. And then, our engagement and then our marriage, like what things do we actually love doing together? How do we want to build our life? How do we want to make life more comfortable and enjoying for ourselves while also challenging ourselves like individually and collectively so that we still continue to grow? I had to really think about those things and it had nothing to do with finances. And that helped me grow because it made me think introspectively. And instead of just thinking about, oh, how am I going to go get the next dollar so I can make more, it was like, oh, how can I add a level of fulfillment that we are all on board together, that we're moving in the right direction. And it's interesting because it's like, as men, we really want to make money so we can impress, so we can buy stuff, but it's all this stuff, which might not add to actual fulfillment. And so it's like, what happens when that stuff is gone? What happens if the money dries out? Like, what do you have left in your relationship? What is left? So I had to do those things to provide leadership without a level of control that was tied to money. Then providing practical support. I really dove into doing things that added to our household that I do now to this day. I am the one who typically cooks dinners every single night. Carly is a way better cook, but I love doing that. One, it's great because I don't have to do laundry, which is amazing. But there's different household chores that I have. There's different household chores that she has. But I look at those things as areas where I'm providing value to my marriage. I'm providing value to everyone in this house. I'm providing value to, when you see this, our daughter should be here, right? And it has nothing to do with finances. It's just about setting the tone and providing support and being the husband that I want to be, and being the husband that, she's always wanted, and the husband that she sees in me, right? And so those things, those practical support, the things that you do every single day, making sure I'm doing something nice for her every day, making sure I'm complimenting her every day, making sure I'm actually seeing her every day, instead of just going through my day and just kind of like going through the motions, going through the routine, like putting aside some intentional time for her. Those are things that you can do that provide support that are far outside of finances. And last thing is making sure that the spiritual and emotional connection is there. I think that this is something that ends up being missed, is because, when you have a spiritual and emotional connection, it really is the fertile grounds for growth, right? Because you can talk about deeper things. You can talk about kind of where your faith is going to lead you in life, and you can start acting and moving in faith, and you just have a different depth of your marriage. I never thought that was even possible or capable when I was just focused on making money and focused on trying to out earn her as if it was some type of competition, instead of thinking, hey, we're in a team, let's do this together, and then also let's add another level of depth to our lives, right? And so that was something that was great, because you're able to take on challenges. Like, I've had layoffs that's happened. I've had so many different challenges that have happened. We've had deaths in the family, things of that nature have happened in the past 6 years of us being together. If it was all predicated off of finances, we would have not have made it, because that's all our focus would have been on. But since we are able to lock in spiritually, emotionally, all of those have helped us grow even stronger, and helped us grow the marriage, grow the relationship, and then the marriage, right? So being a provider is not just about money. You don't have to just be an ATM. You can provide in so many other ways. Again, number one, focus on the we. If it's two people earning, then you have two things that are going into the same pot, and that you're able to do things together and enrich your lives together. Number two, provide leadership without control. If you are just thinking you need to out earn, it's probably a control-based mindset. That's where I was. I was like, I need to out earn so I can control and dictate wherever this is. But when you have two people in a relationship, you're really trying to figure out the best solution for both parties so you can move forward the most effective way. Number three, provide practical support. Think of the day-to-day tasks that you can do to support your partner, to actually be of service to your partner. That's not talked about enough. Typically, all this content is like, hey, how can the other person serve me? That's how my mindset was for a decade. And it just was, in my relationship life, was in shambles, right? And so when I flipped that, I was like, oh, the enrichment of my relationship and marriage has like completely blown me out of the water. And then number four, spiritual and emotional support. Make sure that you're adding a level of depth to your relationship. Again, this is stuff that you can provide support that is not monetary, that will enrich your relationship, your marriage, your engagement, whatever it is. Appreciate you watching. I'll see you all next time. Peace.